And good Tuesday morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray as we head toward Thanksgiving. Flying, isn't it? That'll be next Thursday. I'll be ready for that. Just a tad more than a week. Maybe you're leaving town, getting to go home, or maybe you've got family getting ready to come into town. Whichever way, hope you enjoy yourself. It is a time for family. And one thing that I am proud to start finally seeing is businesses backing away from this Black Friday on Thanksgiving Day to where people can't spend time with family. Got out of hand there for a while, for a few years there, it was just done away with. People had no choice if they wanted to keep their job. Y'all remember that? I'm glad things are starting to change on that, and a lot of businesses are closing on Thanksgiving, the chain stores that affect a lot of people. Let's hope it stays that way. Right now, as we start out our day, we're 49. Could be some light rain where you are. We're going to get to about 54 as we begin this. Let's look at radar because streets are wet this morning. School bus is rolling. A lot of people out drive slower. Accidents happen because of this. As we go to Meridian Honda radar, we pull it up this morning, and this is what we've got. As we zoom in, it's a 70% chance all this ending by 11 o'clock. And as you can see on radar, it is moving to our east. The big threat is out of the area. We've got a little bit of showers back down in Jasper that'll make its way through Newton and Lauderdale, Kemper, and then on into Alabama, and then shall be gone for the rest of the day. But as we zoom in this a little bit closer, let's take a look at what we've got this morning. Northwestern Lauderdale County out in the West Lauderdale area. A little bit of rain there today as we look at it closer. On up through Scuba, these areas here, from Scuba back west over to Cleveland. We have it pretty much all over Newton County. I-20, if you travel that very, very slick Montrose, Lewin area there on Highway 15. A lot of showers there. Now, still streets are wet here in Clark County, but not as bad as it is over at Taylorsville this morning. Just remember not to lock the brakes up. Don't wait to the last minute to put on your brakes before you come to a stop at a stop sign. You seem to get quicker when that happens. I think we all have been there. Oh boy, scares us there. How are you? I see Roy Ellis up today, Becky Vickers, Cindy, how are you? Lisa Berry, so good to see each and every one of y'all. Well, let's get things started. I think we need a good word to get this underway. Let's have the Minister of Music join us as we go out to Collinsville each and every day to the First Baptist Church, and he's going to talk a little bit about faith. Well, we all need it, don't we? Let's see what David's got to say this morning.
Have you ever stopped to think about what it means to have faith in something? I mean, we all have faith in a lot of different things every day without even realizing it. We trust that our phone will wake us up in the morning, our shower will be hot when we turn on the water, and that our car will start when we crank the engine to go to work. We have faith in all these things, and that's before we even leave the house. We obviously know what it means to trust in something, but I think for many of us, we struggle to live that way, especially when our circumstances bring pressure and stress into our lives. Many times our default response comes from a place of anger or fear or uncertainty, and we turn to worldly things around us for answers, instead of asking the only one who really knows. In Matthew 8, 1-13, Jesus tells 3 stories about people who were struggling with sickness. And in each situation, the affected person comes to him for help, and Jesus tells them, "Go and let it be done for you as you have believed." I don't know how you've responded to difficulty or uncertainty in the past, but the next time life throws a challenge your way, make a choice to take it to Jesus. He is faithful to those who believe in him. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And again, if you don't have a church of your own, they'd love to see you. You can visit them online, watch services there, or you can go in person. As we begin today, already 6:34, I'm your friend Scotty Ray. I hope you're feeling well. As we look at headlines, as we've seen a string of this, and we've talked about this even when Chris Reed was here and the different people. We'll talk with Ward Calhoun before long. He's going to be joining us, as well as we talk about the winter months and what they bring. Normally it brings more, burglaries. And we're right on track as we add 2 more burglaries to the list from last night. As we go to headlines this morning, pull this up. Sam Media, as we find out who and where. There were 2 overnight burglaries in Meridian last night. Anybody remember Rose's? This will be right next to Big Lots in College Park. These would bust a glass to gain entry into the store. A little bit later on, this happened right at midnight last night. As we came across, the next victim would be this store here, the Phone Doctor. Now, this is located on Highway 45 North. We're close to the Coca-Cola plant. Here's Coca-Cola plant, and behind it there is AutoZone. I think we've all been through that shopping center at one point. If you're from the Meridian area, from out of town, you've passed by the Coca-Cola plant. You know where that is. That's where that happened. Now, what we don't know is if the two are connected. I have not seen surveillance video from either one, so I'm not sure if it's the same group or the same group that is robbed or burglarized. Let me back that up. I almost said the wrong word. Burglarized the other 9 businesses that have been hit. Recently, that's 11 that I'm aware of within a tad over a week. The list keeps growing. These folks just don't want to work. That's all it amounts to. They don't want to do anything. They want to take what's yours and, well, go sell it for a quick buck to get whatever it is they're after. As this story develops, we'll find out more. Slowly, progress begins. We'll let you know what becomes of it. Now, yesterday, let me show you these locations just in case you're looking at this. As I told where they were, but Roses, as we pull this up, this is as you come in on Highway 19 from the interstate here. As you go up Highway 19 there and you come up to where College Park is, it's going to be sitting right there. As we all know, the old movie theater used to sit there, and Roses, right over there next to Big Lots, is where that is. Now, the second business, again, as we pointed out there on Highway 45 North, where the 45 and 39 split happens if you're going toward the Naval Base or if you go north to Meridian, right there in that shopping center there, is where they would bust the glass and take what wasn't theirs. Just bad there. Now, we had another call yesterday afternoon about 3 o'clock as we got into all of this, that a possible burglary had happened. As we look at this, this would be a Dollar General. Now, at first, it came out that it was robbed with a pistol. The police would arrive, and the story would be changed to larceny. As we look at this, and they would arrest the suspect down toward the railroad tracks. If you're leaving where McDonald's is, North Frontage Road, the Dollar General sits here. Due north toward the 18th Avenue Bridge to go over the bridges toward the hospital. This person would be caught near the railroad tracks down there that matched the description. He was quickly taken back over to Dollar General and identified as the person who did this. Now, again, I haven't seen video, but this was changed, and the term pistol was dropped out of it and changed to larceny. Now, I know a lot of other people are telling me that I don't believe that. That's the official report that we get from this. And this is the scene of that yesterday as we look at this. As police arrived, they were all over the place and came into the business as they showed up. Several police officers, we had the county arrive that were close to help out in this. And we'll talk about this a little bit further this morning at 8 o'clock so everybody is aware of what's going on. These type of crimes are going to increase between now throughout the holidays for these winter months. Not to say that more shootings can't happen, drive-by shootings, but they tend to, in the winter months, back off. It's not as much conflict, and they focus on taking things. Those criminals. Again, I'm not saying, I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying that shootings are over. They're not. It's just not as many during the winter months. We'll keep you posted on each and everything that happens that we find out about to give you the very latest when it comes to information. Now, as I start looking at a few things that are going on around the state of Mississippi, I did have a report yesterday afternoon of some tires stolen in the county. This would be out in the Kewanee area. Jacked up, tires taken. Watch your stuff. Have as many cameras as you can around your place. Now, there's always been that argument with me when I bring this up. Well, cameras don't stop a crime. No, they do not. But it does help identify who it is. So if you have some, you've got a little bit extra in your budget, there's some affordable ones out there. Install a camera system. Very important to have that to show police and authorities of who's been around your place that shouldn't be there. And it helps when you're not at home also. You can watch. It's real neat. Find out who's sneaking in Christmas presents. All kinds of things. All right, as we move to start looking at a few things around the state of Mississippi, we find out this morning in Jackson, Mississippi, a club owner has been shot. Well, no. Let me back up on that. A club owner has been arrested after a woman was shot. The woman was shot in the stomach area. No word on her condition as we wait to find out more about this. Does sound like some type of altercation happened. We'll get more information on that as it comes about. as always, every time that I bring one of these stories up, it is so sad. When you mention this word involved in an accident, you know it's not going to be good. A motorcycle wreck. A Van Cleve man has passed away in a wreck yesterday involving a Mercedes and his motorcycle. He lost his life at the scene. He was identified as Bruce Lind Jr. He was 49 years old. He died at the scene. That's sad. And those of you who ride bikes know exactly how that is, how sad it is. Condolences right here at the holidays of losing a family member young, 49. We do hate that. Now, the next headline that I read is not going to shock you. I guess anybody would go, whoa, hang on. I don't want y'all to have that. As we find out that former Governor Phil Bryant has asked the court to throw out all these subpoenas asking for his texts in between him and Brett Favre. He says they're personal and they should be covered under executive privilege. Well, I don't know. But he's asking them to throw it out. They have not answered. As soon as we get an answer on that, we'll pass those headlines along to you. Can't blame the man for asking, can you? As we go to Oxford, Mississippi, we all know that, Ole Miss, that area. Got any kids who go to college up there? There's a few. A lady's been arrested for credit card fraud. Oof. 33-year-old Kenita Henderson of Oxford was charged with credit card fraud and taken into custody. And, of course, as always with this, innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Try to say that credit card thing real fast. I got all tongue-twisted, didn't I? We head south for the next headline across the state of Mississippi and found out that a Macomb man was shot and he died Sunday afternoon in the hospital. Quentin Gaden was shot once and he lost his life in the hospital. We hate that. We see this so much. This crime just goes bigger and bigger and bigger. Nationwide is here. You know, as we talked about yesterday, those 3 students at the University of Virginia. Just so uncalled for. We go to Clay County, Mississippi next, where a grand jury has indicted a man. Horrible charges of rape, kidnapping. Frederick Gandy was indicted on 2 counts of rape and 1 count of kidnapping, burglary, attempted murder, and armed robbery. Grand juries don't play. I will head next to the court to see what becomes of that. Now, as often as we do, I think in the South, for the most part, not everybody has got the religion like everybody else, but in the South, it's near and dear to us. Our traditions when it comes to God and country are very important. It's not that way everywhere, and there's even a few in the South that don't believe that. But a conservative group, as this keeps going, is suing to allow Mississippi's abortion ban to take full effect. Mississippi has a so-called trigger law on the books designed to implement a near-total abortion ban in the event of Roe versus Wade being overturned. A Jackson's Woman Health group sued to stop the trigger law. Well, this group is suing to make it go into effect. We'll see where all this goes. As we know on the national level, as we see now, that the Senate will be Democrat-held. It's still a toss-up to find out what will happen in the House. A lot of that will depend upon what happens there. Shad White, been busy. Y'all know that name? As we look at headlines this morning, he's ordering a company to pay millions to the state in fines. Well, actually, it's a prison. The Marshall County Correctional Facility, he says nearly 12,000 shifts were unfilled between 2017 and 2020, and they failed to inform the Department of Corrections about the shortages. The auditors demand this covers the cost of the shifts plus interest and investigative cost. So basically, it sounds like they were getting paid for, well, people they didn't have on the clock. He's probably right. That man counts right, and we all know that. We'll see if Shad becomes one of the names that drops his name into that hat to run for governor. Ought to be interesting. I don't think Tate is going to go unopposed this time. There's too many people that have interests that feel that they can do a little bit better job than Tate. As I look around the state, we see a lot of places getting new businesses. I haven't seen a lot of that in East Mississippi. Have y'all? This side of the state. I've seen it north, the west, and to the south. East has been missing a little bit there. Let's hope we get that back on track, don't y'all? We go to Hattiesburg next for a headline this morning of the fifth suspect being arrested in connection with a double homicide that happened back November the 2nd. This time, police arrested James Lee in connection with this. They got him late yesterday afternoon. It's a bunch of people with a murder. Again, innocent until proven guilty. Been arrested. He'll stand trial. We go to Amory. Oh, this is awful. This is north of here, north of Macon, Mississippi, up in that area there. Has passed away. He was 67 years old, rather. A house fire broke out. He died from smoke inhalation. Be careful during these. We've had folks on with us from the fire departments talking about all that can happen with fires that break out. Y'all be careful. Doesn't take much, and smoke is deadly. We've seen it in this area as well. That took place in Amory there. Crime is bad, but when an elderly person is the victim, it even makes it worse, doesn't it? Well, it does in my book. There's just certain things you don't do. You don't talk back to old folks, and you definitely don't rob them. As we go to this, Columbus police say that someone broke into the home of a Columbus elderly person early yesterday morning. They tied her up, stole her car. She had non-life-threatening injuries, but you got to think about that. Elderly, being tied up to a chair. They stole her car and drove off. She was 80 years old. The suspect, how this happened, the suspect came to her door and repeatedly rang the doorbell, kept beating on it. She opened the door, and that's when they gained entry. Again, as we head into these holidays, if someone knocks on your door, you don't know them, if it makes you feel uneasy, call the police. They'll be glad to come out and check it out. They do this all day long. That's part of their job. They don't mind a bit. Their job is to serve and protect and be glad to come check you out. Thank goodness she's going to be okay, but think about that. You're at home. You've got an elderly, most likely live alone. Someone knocks at your door, and you don't think of someone being bad on the other side of that door, do you? Well, they're out there. Let's hope everything's going to be okay on that, and they catch whoever this is. Do y'all remember the what we talked about yesterday that happened over the weekend in Dallas, the air show with the B-17, the two planes crashed and killed 6 people? I read last night where that plane had been in Gulfport, done an air show back in May of this year. So maybe a few of you have seen that. Anybody getting ready for the Egg Bowl? It is coming your way this weekend as we get ready to that for Thanksgiving. It'll be the 119th game. Kickoff is going to be at 6 p.m. ESPN is going to be carrying the game. So I do hope everybody enjoys it, has a great game to watch and enjoy yourself. And then everybody else will hit the woods deer hunting. We know how that works. We do see here Dylan Ray will be coming home before long as Thanksgiving break comes to Mississippi State University. If you got kids there, the campus is going to close on November the 23rd at lunch through the 25th. The residence hall will remain open for those who have no home to go back to. And believe it or not, there are kids that just don't have that luxury, or it's too far. They can't afford a plane ticket. But that's what's going on there. But hopefully your family can make it home as we get ready for the holidays. That's a few of the headlines that's starting to shape the state. Let's take a look at some things that are happening nationwide as we look at this. Carrie Lake, have y'all seen this? Y'all know her from Arizona. She's saying now she doesn't really believe in those results. It's razor thin, but they have declared her opponent the winner. I don't know if you saw this. Elon Musk. You know, Twitter has gotten a lot of people into trouble in our state and every state. Well, people pop off without thinking. It looks like a engineer there at Twitter is in trouble that went against what Elon Musk said, and he tweeted it. Elon tweeted back, "You're fired." He doesn't take it, does he? We will never know what really went on in Nancy Pelosi's house with her husband Paul and the intruder, will we? Do y'all remember the story that NBC posted and then it went whoop, it went away? He's been relieved of his duties. As they say, he can't prove what he put. We'll never see the video. We all know that. He made some claims that they say is not right. Again, I don't think we will ever know. But I put it this way. You've got the president, you've got the vice president, and then you've got the Speaker of the House, who would be third in line to the presidency. Does anyone watching think that Joe can knock on the door and just come in? I don't think so. I'll leave it at that. You fill in the blanks, and like I said, we'll never know. Got any idea how many people watched the kickoff of Yellowstone? This is unreal. 12.1 million Americans sat back and watched the opening season kickoff of Yellowstone. Boy, that's a strong show, isn't it? 12 million people. Have mercy. I got your forecast coming up next. We'll dig into it, let you know what's going to happen, what the cold weather is going to do, and when to drag out those electric blankets. We'll check all that next as we head into this November. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group. The Square Peg Mini Mall is located across from the Neshoba County Co-op in Philadelphia. And they're getting ready for the Christmas season with a large variety of furniture and over 30 vendors to browse through. You can take advantage of the layaway on furniture and not pick it up until Christmas Eve. The inventory is constantly updating, and there's always a chance for a surprise when you step inside. Family owned and operated, where they treat you like family. Come visit the Square Peg Mini Mall located at 335 West Main Street in Philadelphia.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Our record highs, record lows, it was 05 that today was 84 degrees. That was warm. Back in 63, and it must have been cold for a few days back in 1963. That record temp was set at 21. Whew. As we look at today, 54, we've got showers through about 11 o'clock. A light chance. I think it's going to end a lot sooner than that. This stretches from Philadelphia up into Noxubee County and southward, maybe there through Jasper and Clark County. It's making its way out of the state. As we look at Alabama, they've got much more rain today as we come across for a high of 56 in Tuscaloosa, same as in Demopolis. 54-55 will make its way to Livingston, Alabama. As we move forward to take a look, this is that forecast. Still chilly. Not as cold as it is in eastern Tennessee, but it's cool here. Now let's look at our 7-day forecast of what we've got lined out. What's going to be going on with the forecast as we look at it. 54 today for the high, down to 38 tonight. And again, these showers should be ending by 11 o'clock today. 0% chance of rain for tomorrow with a high of 53, and then we dip below freezing. Now, I want to really get your attention here. Do y'all see this? This is Thursday. This will be probably the coldest day that we've had forecasted so far for the area. If you have put off and you do not have heat, you do not have extra precautions for your pet and vegetations, do so now. High of 49 on Thursday. We're looking at 26 forecasted for the low on Thursday night. Not much better on Friday night with a low of 28, Saturday 28, Sunday night 27. So we have extreme cold weather that is getting ready to roll in, and I want you to, again, to take this very seriously. Cold weather is bad. Make sure if you've got someone elderly that lives in your community that lives alone, check on them. Make sure that there's no heaters next to those curtains. It takes just a second of our time to help somebody else. We don't want anything to happen. Make sure that your neighbor is okay. As we all know, sometimes power bills get out of hand and somebody loses power. We don't want anybody to be without when it's cold. Help your neighbor when you can. As we look at this, we go another week or so into this month. As we look at this, through the 29th, we'll keep highs in the 50s. By the 25th, right there around Thanksgiving there, or day after, we'll get to 63, and then nighttime lows of 40. Warming up a little bit more next week, but we got cold weather coming. Be careful and keep that in mind. Now, let's take a look at what's happening with the hurricanes. Oh, absolutely nothing. There's no cyclones out there. Nothing expected over the next 48 hours in the Gulf or in the Atlantic either. As we look at our fishing contact, our best times to fish today, 5 o'clock this morning was a great time. Your next time will be after dark, and you got a minor time there after lunch from 1 until 3. And again, today, overall, it's rated a poor day. You can still go fishing. I've always heard that as any day fishing is a better day than at work. Northwest wind 5 to 10. Gusts today of about 20 miles an hour is going to bite on water. We all know it's a little bit worse near the water, so keep that in mind if you just got to go. I want you to know all about that. Don't forget about this. The back porch has got this going on. The food drive. They're helping out Love's Kitchen. They'd love to have any canned foods that you've got, beef stew, chicken, all of this. And also to the Wesley House. You can drop it off at the back porch or at the Rock House. It's a great way to help somebody for the holidays, the folks that are needy. They'll be there. Causeyville Car Show is coming up this weekend. Don't forget about that, as we'll see this kickoff Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. It'll run through 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's in Causeyville. If you want to come out to a great car show, that's the place to go to. Hope you can make it and see it all, what they've got going on. We also have the 19th, Singing Brakeman Park. This is going to be going on. Community Resource Day. Go out and check that out. Also, we got a lot of Christmas things going to be coming up before long. A rummage sale coming up on this coming Sunday at the church here, the Tabernacle. Maybe you can go by and help them out as well there. Everybody likes a good garage sale, don't they? Now, I'm going to be honest about this. When I was a kid, the only time you ever saw that word was north of the Mason-Dixon line, rummage. We always called them yard sales. I remember my first time of visiting somebody in West Virginia, and they said rummage. We didn't know what they were talking about. It took 30 or 40 minutes before we figured out what kind of sale they were going to. That's a few of the things. This morning we'll talk about where the Christmas lights are going to be. We got several of those. The Doc's place is going to be kicking off before long. I think that happens Thanksgiving night. I'll talk to him. Dr. Mason, always enjoy that. And, of course, Christmas lights are going to be kicking off as you go out on Minnebucket Road, too. Christmas trees are going up. And the question is always asked, is it too early to put up my tree? My wife says no. Some of you won't do it until Christmas, after the holiday there of taking care of Thanksgiving meal, and then after lunch do it. We'll see. Thank y'all for coming by. We're going to be back here in 1 hour from now to tell you all about what's going on in the area. Candace will join me. Would love if you would too. We'll be live here on YouTube. We'll be live on Facebook. We've got Twitter thrown in, and we'll throw in Fox 30. Turn it on your TV. You can even watch it on Comcast. They got it all over the places on all of your dish satellites and DirecTV. You can see it several places. Join us. Ooh, Jennifer Cole, how are you doing? My wife is correct. Like old Jennifer. Y'all have a great day, and I'll see you in 1 hour from now. Make an appointment to join me back. Look forward to seeing you.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: